Welcome to Unfiltered with SteveVon and Britt. This is a safe space
helping you to freely think
and discover what you believe. Welcome to episode 15
What's
of the
up?
podcast. This
Yeah.
is Unfiltered with SteveVon and Britt, and we're your hosts.
My name is SteveVon Lamar.
And I'm Britt Tashay, and we're excited to get into this week's
Yes, we
episode. But first, let me go ahead and remind you to hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening, or if you're watching here on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. And while you're at it, hit the notification bell so you know when new videos or new episodes are coming out.
Gotta stay up to date.
Also, if you didn't know, we have a Patreon community.
Yeah.
This is where we want all the cousins to join us in community. Come kick back with us, pull up,
Come hang out with us.
have conversations. You know what I'm saying? This is where we can talk about things in a more intimate space without the internet trolls. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So pull up and join us. All right. So now that all the preliminaries are out the way, let's go ahead and get into our timeline takes.
Yeah.
This is where we're covering the news that's on your timeline. So it's so crazy because it's Black History Month,
Yes, it
right?
is.
So let's first start out with that. Happy Black History
Happy
Month,
Black
even
History
though
Month.
it's the shortest month, and we still honor it, of course, because
Yes, we
we
do.
celebrate it 365 days
all
a year.
day. Blackity black, black, black. Right?
So yeah, we want to say Happy Black History Month, and today it's so crazy what's going on right now in our country, in our world. But it's like this dual thing where I wanted to show the picture of honoring where we come from and what's happening right now.
Past and present, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. But let's get into it. So today we're going to talk about our Black voting rights and the history of that and what happened in our country and kind of paint the picture of where we are now.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get into just some facts. Y'all bear with me. I wanted to make sure that I had the facts down straight. And as
Got
we
a fact check.
as we walk through the facts and honor the history correctly, then we're going to come in dialogue about it. All right. So let's honor the legacy. Black Americans fought for the right to vote despite violence, intimidation, and legal barriers. Civil rights leaders like John Lewis were beaten while marching for voting rights during the Selma protests in 1965. Many ordinary citizens risked their lives simply to register to vote. And the legal right versus the reality is that in the 15th Amendment that was ratified in 1870 gave Black men the legal right to vote. However, many states created laws and practices to prevent Black Americans from exercising that right. Here are a few of the suppression tactics. Number one, the literacy test that was required by voters to read and interpret complex passages before being allowed to vote. And these tests were graded subjectively, meaning officials could fail Black voters regardless of their answers. Also, they banned this nationwide in the Voting Rights Act in 1965, which we'll get more into a little bit later. The next suppression tactic was poll taxes. This was required for people, Black people, to pay a fee in order to vote, which impacted poor and working class Black communities. And this was also later banned, but we'll get into that. Next strategy that they used was called the grandfather clause. Some of y'all probably heard about this.
One of the worst ones.
You probably heard of it. It's where they only allow people whose grandfather had voted before 1867 to vote, and this excluded mostly Black Americans whose grandfathers had been enslaved. So yeah.
Big waste of time.
Pretty much.
You know.
Now, the last tactic here is violent intimidation, where there were arrests, beatings, job loss threats, and even lynchings to anyone who was of color, Black people that came out to the polls and tried to exercise their rights to vote. Now, this obviously created fear and discouraged Black citizens from voting. And the impact of these tactics were by 1964, only about 6% of eligible Black voters in Mississippi were registered. And suppression worked not by removing the legal right to vote, but by blocking access. So here's where the turning point happened. It was in the Voting Rights of 1965. This was passed nationwide through protests and civil rights activism. It was supported by organizations like the NAACP. It's a law that banned literacy tests, allowed federal enforcement of voting rights, expanded voter registration across the South, and Black voter registration increased dramatically in the years that followed. So here's where we are today. The SAVE Act.
Wow.
I don't know if y'all have heard about this, but the SAVE Act is, I want to go through what it is, okay? The SAVE Act is currently being considered in the United States Congress. The SAVE Act, which stands for Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. It's a bill that will require documentary proof of citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. For an example, your required documents that you would need to present in order to be registered to vote would be either a birth certificate or a passport. And this also, birth certificates would need to show the name that is what you were given at birth. So this will create a problem or obstacle for married women like myself who have changed their last name, divorced women who still have their married name and haven't went back to their name that was originally on their birth certificate, or anyone who has illegally changed their name. So this will even affect the trans community and so many people, right? Sad. So pretty much if your name doesn't match, then you'll need to present other documents such as marriage certificates of your original name. Divorced women will have to present their divorce papers and certificates and things like that. Also, it will need to show any legal name change records along with whatever you're presenting as your birth certificate or your passport. So many eligible voters may not have these documents readily available. A lot of people can't even afford to get all of these documents. And even for the elderly community, a lot of them don't even know where most of these documents are, not to mention the fact that they're trying to get away with taking away the mail-in vote, which a lot of our elderly community, that's how they vote.
Exactly.
Anywho, so all that to say that a driver's license alone will no longer be sufficient in order to just show up to your voting poll and vote, or just to register to vote. Yeah. So this clearly is concerning. There are a lot of historical parallels here. In the past, barriers were tests and taxes, but now these barriers are presenting themselves as paperwork and technicalities. So voter suppression, it often worked by creating additional requirements for voters to get access to vote. And the tactic didn't always remove the legal right to vote, but it did create these obstacles in order for people to exercise their right to vote. So here's what we can do. Matter of fact, before we can get into what we can do, I want to talk about, what do you think about all of this? Now that you're hearing it all outlined, just painting this picture of where we came from, our ancestors fighting for us to get these rights, and then watching an administration, watching, you know, a government that's trying to literally take us backwards and strip rights away and make it more complicated for people to vote. Yeah,
I just feel like it's a finesse, you know, and with that being said, it was a finesse in the beginning. And, you know, I remember being in history class as a teenager. I went to a private school. A lot of people don't know that, but like, you know, it was a good school. Appreciate my time there. The people were great, but at the same time, I also have been grappling with my journey, you know, in the past of like code switching, dimming my light, you know, pulling back my blackness at times to be in the spaces with them. And when I thought about it, it would be times I'd be in history class and it would just be like, not a lot of us in there. You know, it was like maybe a couple black kids. And so when I would hear some of this stuff, it would piss me off, you know, like real PTSD, like cultural PTSD, historical PTSD, that they're just reading in books like it's a fiction story or it's not real, but it's really real. And this is what our people went through. You said Mississippi, like my great grandfather, my grandmother's from there, your grandparents are from there. Like, so it's not like people we don't even know, or it's like far removed. And it's like, we're talking about something we don't really know about. But for me, when I would hear these clauses that they had, the grandfather clause, I'm like, this don't make no sense. Nobody's saying that in this classroom. Like, of course the grandfather didn't vote because he had no right to vote. So that means nobody else after him can vote. This is the finesse of finesses, right? The other one, what was the first one that you read? What was the first one? I know grandfather.
The tax one.
The tax one is wild too, because they a lot of times didn't even have money to be able to do that. Right,
literacy.
Literacy was the first one because they didn't have the opportunity to read.
They would punished them for learning
like,
to read.
They couldn't even read. So it's like these are all barriers. Like, it's not even barriers. Like certain barriers you can get over, get past, figure it out. These were literally blockages. Like, there's no way that they're going to get through this. There's no way nobody could actually benefit from this. It's just a fake and false, and got people fake hype, fake excited.
Yeah.
And if we don't pay attention, a lot of times with history, if you don't know history, it can repeat itself.
Yeah, someone said history rhymes.
It rhymes all the time. Like, it really does. And if you don't pay attention to it, if you don't know the rhyme, you don't know that it's actually repeating itself.
You're in the middle of it.
You're just like, oh, this don't
You're
look,
in the middle of the rhyme.
But in the middle of the rhyme, and it's actually happening right in front of your face. So for me, I feel like this is the pivotal time to pay attention so we don't go backwards.
Yeah.
And fall into the finesse again.
Yeah. And it sometimes feels like it's too late because it's happening right now already. Like this passed, I believe, in the House or the Senate, one of the two. Yeah. And it's on its way to its next step, which would, I think, go to the Congress or whatever to be passed there. I can't remember. It's either or. But it's just even the part of suppression where they did violent tactics to, make them not want to even, to scare them from showing up to the polls. And one of the political pundits that literally advises Trump, he literally said out loud today out of his mouth that ICE will be present at voting polls. That already, people are scared to go outside and go get groceries right now, let alone go out and exercise their right to vote or register to vote, so it's scary to look and see, like, how do we get here? Like, how do we go back?
If you even think about it, we got like people that we know, like literally that are like in certain cities, even here, right? Where we are. But like, I know in Texas, we got people that work in schools and kids are walking out.
Yeah.
That are, Hispanic or Latino, descent. And they're like, cause they're afraid.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, people of color have to be looking as well, because we are like, hey, they're already pulling people aside and trying to challenge them. They've already
identity. Started to pull black people, profile them, and also the Haitian community is being, targeted by ICE right now. And Haitians look like black people, just black Americans. Right. You know what I'm saying? So anybody's a target at this point. So it's not like, and a lot of people, I think, to your point of what you're saying, people think, oh, it can never happen to me, or whatever, or I could dodge it or what. No, this is not the time to sit back and play that game. This is the time where we need to come together, organize, doing stuff like this where we're making our voices loud and informing our community. That's the reason why we highlighted this story as the timeline take, because some people may not have even heard of the SAVE Act. Some people may not even know, like, we hear about what our ancestors did and went through to get us these rights, but you need to be reminded of why it's so important what they did and why we can't sit out on elections, why we can't sit back and not register to vote and not exercise our voices that our ancestors fought so hard for us to use. They couldn't do it. These barriers were placed in front of them to prevent them from using their voices, and they fought harder and harder to continue to go. How dare we sit at home and not register to vote? How dare we sit at home and not actually vote in the election? It's just, we can't afford
we have
it.
We are not just reminded, but we have a responsibility.
Absolutely.
And we have to take our responsibility and do something with it.
Yes. So I hope that this is like spreading some form of awareness. Please share what this is, the SAVE Act. And I know a lot of it I was reading because I wanted you to hear the real facts of it, the real true information. And I want to close out this with some things that we can do today. Here are some things we can do in the midst of all of what's going on and what they're presenting to us and what they're trying to do to suppress us and scare us and make us stay home and not vote or not register. This is what we can do. Number one, we can make sure that we have access to our documents. We have our passport. We actually went and got our passport because we went on a trip to Paris a few years ago now. And so they're still valid. And so now we're blessed to have that. And I know it's a cost and expense, but if you have it or if you can save up for it, please go and get your passport.
You can even get the passport ID. I have that too, so it can be in my wallet, so I don't have to carry that around if I'm out and about. That way it covers me and it covers us when we're on the go. So.
Yes. And also make sure you have your birth certificate. Like, I have to get a new copy of my birth certificate because when I went and did my passport, it was in the middle of us moving. And so I think they sent my birth certificate back to our old address. So now I just have to go and get a new copy. Go now and get these documents lined up, because you don't know the suppression tactics. They may even try to not give you these documents, to not give you a passport, to not give you your birth certificate. We don't know. These are crazy times that we are in. So just make sure that you have those documents. Make sure that you are registered to vote. Make sure your registration status is active. We just received our voter registration cards in the mail the other day, so we know we are active and ready to go for these upcoming elections that are coming up, which are very, very important. By the way,
very vital.
These are this election is so vital because it will help to present safeguards around Trump and what he can and cannot do. So we need to get out there and we need to vote. Another thing that you need to do is you can also help others, help your family members and your friends by spreading this information to them. Let them know that the SAVE Act is something that may pass. So just help them to get their documents in order if they don't have them, or help them locate them, or go with them to the Secretary of State or your DMV and help them to acquire these documents. Like, we have to come together. Our ancestors, they organized, they got in churches, they got in community centers, they came together and made sure that they can move in one as a unit.
That's what made it a community.
Yes.
A village, doing it together, not leaving anybody out, and nobody's left behind.
Yes. So we need to do that together. Come together and let's make sure no man is left behind, whether it's your family, your friends, or just somebody that you're talking about this with on the internet. We all need to make sure that we are ready for these upcoming elections, and let nobody take our voices from us, and never submit in advance. We're not submitting in advance. We're going to do everything we can on our end to exercise our voice, because our ancestors, they fought too hard for us not to. Period.
That's on period. Straight up.
All right. So now that that's out of the way, I want to go. I hope that was helpful to y'all, but I want to go into our next segment, which is lessons unlearned. And because we're talking about just all of this progress and history and all of this, it really made me think as I was doing the research for this podcast and for the, segment for Timeline Takes. I started to just see all of the parallels of like progress, that we made, and how it feels like we're going backwards in a sense. And we made a short film about that, actually. If you want to check it out, it's here on our channel. But we made a short film talking about how, is it really progress? Like, some of the things that our ancestors fought for, we're still fighting today. We're still trying to hold on to those rights. And so it made me deconstruct the idea of progress being permanent. Because a lot of times we can,
I get that. That's good.
We really think like, oh, we standing on the shoulders of those who came before us, and that what they did is cemented, like it's permanent, and we get to just live off of their, work, their progress, their achievements, and their grace. But we don't. We still have to uphold that standard, as well as continue to progress for those coming behind us. So I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on what you feel about that, even that statement. Progress is not permanent. How does that make you feel as far as unlearning that whole thing?
I mean, it makes me think that progress is not forever. And I feel like that is not settled. You have to, continually pursue it. I think we have to not give up on it. We have to continue to push the envelope, continue to fight for not just our rights. Like, we got to fight for better, and better was better back then. Whatever was better for them back then is good, but it's not good enough for now. We can't just settle in. I think that's the issue. Sometimes we settle in because we think we're sure that it's going to stay the same, but that doesn't always happen. And honestly, that's where we need to continue to have these conversations to see where we are, see where we've been, and see if we're going in the right direction, right? Like driving on the street, driving somewhere, you need a GPS to let you know where you're going, and sometimes you get rerouted. Sometimes you can take the same route, and by looking at the GPS, if you're going in the right direction. A lot of us not even using the GPS to see if we're going in the right direction of progress. right? We're like, we don't even know.
Right.
We don't even know the road we're on. And that's the history we're talking about. If you don't know the history, then you don't know where we've been.
Yeah.
So you definitely don't know where we're going. And I think that is a big part of it when it comes to progress. And I see a lot of us digressing. I see, because of us not really understanding what progress looks like because of where we come from.
Yeah.
Like, I'm being really honest. Like, when it comes to not just, I hate to say this because people used to do this when we were younger, and we're still young, but like when we talk about the younger generation, are doing their job. They are talking, they're figuring it out. But some of them not, and I even would say even like the millennials, sometimes I feel like we are pushing forward, but then there's some people I talk to and it's like, they don't care. They're not thinking about none of this. They're not looking at politics. They're not trying to learn. They're like, man, it is what it is. Man, we're gonna figure it out regardless. They'll never do that to us. And that means you don't understand the history, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you really don't know where we've been. You really don't know where we've been. And if you know where we've been, you would understand that some of these are replays. These are replays.
Same old playbook.
They're replaying it and you're like not paying attention. This is a rerun and the episodes are playing right before you and you're not seeing it. You thinking it's a new show. It's a new episode, but it's the same thing. And if we're not paying attention, we're going to get lost and left behind and we won't continue to progress and move forward.
And we will be repeating history. It even makes me think about like the deconstruction space, in Christianity, just in general, like how so far, like in Christianity, there was so much growth of like being about love and compassion and, caring for your fellow, neighbor, and those around you, and even going out into the world just to share love. And now I feel like Christianity has become just this white American Jesus, and it's starting to regress. And it's starting to be like, if you don't look a certain way or you don't fit inside of our boxes, like, no, just the love that was in and the compassion that was in Christianity is starting to even regress. And so even on that front, I'm like, man, we've come so far with, I guess, I don't know if it's not doctrine or theology, but just the compassion of like mimicking the ways of Jesus. We started to come so far in that. Yeah. And then I feel like through people wanting to use religion as a way to control people and put this supremacy on other groups, it started to make people begin to box people in and show less compassion. And that's where we start to see empathy as a sin. Empathy is toxic. Like, how can you say statements like that or write a book with your full chest and say that and preach it when you know that Jesus was compassionate? Like, literally, that was the way of Jesus.
The weight of empathy is held in understanding, compassion, feeling for others, like stories that you can just pull on. It's like literal examples of him walking, and then this woman with the issue of blood literally pulls on his hem. This is like even a symbolic. She's pulling on the hem of him, and he says, what left him? He said, virtue left him. That is literally understanding, feeling. He's feeling her pain. Like, and that's, how can you be a Christian and not do what Christ did? Well, and the only way you can do that, if you look at Christ as a mascot, as Christian A. Smith says, and others have mentioned, he's just the poster child for them to mimic or manipulate and use it against us, so we can actually be able to feel like we need to lean into religion when they want us to lean into it for a political stance or something that they believe in, right? But they don't look like him. They don't talk like him. They don't act like him. They don't even do even what even his disciples did on the lower level. So come on, he said the same thing you would do. You know what I'm saying? So like, at the end of the day, if you're going to mimic Christ, he said, be an imitator of him. Even the imitation ain't good.
Right. No.
Like they're not even really like imitating him well.
The enemy, what they call the enemy, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So for me, it's like, you're not even making sense. It doesn't even line up with his doctrine, his belief, his way of thinking, his way of living. He put himself last so everybody else can be first. He literally said, I became a curse so you can be blessed. So that's literally, to be that, you have to be like, okay, if they're cursed, then I'm putting myself in their place. That's empathy. That's all empathy is putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, putting yourself in someone else's place. Yeah. And that's funny and it's crazy and it's low-key psychotic and mentally like challenging that you can think that way even as a Christian. Right. It's like you're not really that.
No, seriously.
Like we gotta really stop the cap. We gotta call it out and be like, yo, there's no way you can say you're a Christian when you don't act like a Christ. Yeah. You act like Christ. Like if I'm like my father, I should act like my father or my mother, right? Because I'm from them.
And a better version of them.
A better version of them. Right. But the fact that you're not even at the lower level of him, it's horrible.
Sickening.
It's harmful.
Yeah. And that's what we do here. Like the work that we do is to challenge just this whole ideal of what Christianity has become, right? To challenge this whole Christian nationalism movement, because it's really painting Jesus as this capitalistic, rich, blonde hair, blue-eyed person. And I don't know what Bible y'all reading, but that's not really it. And we're not even Christians. Once again, you made it known on one of the other episodes. It's like, we can do this because we came from this. We've been in every version of it pretty much that you can think of, from Baptist and Pentecostal to Word of Faith to non-denominational, evangelical, multicultural, generational, all of those different spaces, to be able to sit here and critique it and say that I don't think this is what was intended when Jesus was speaking on compassion.
Yeah, we got it wrong, bro.
Y'all got it wrong.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, we were a part of it initially, just like be on that side and be like, this ain't it. Like, it's not representing. I'm not saying everybody, every church, every pastor. I'm not saying it's nothing's a monolith. I'm not saying everything. Right. But I am saying there is some cap going on, and we got to call out the cap. We got to talk about it, because at the end of the day, if your church, if your pastor, if the people that say they're Christians and your family and your friendships, and they don't represent caring for people, they don't have compassion for people, they always talking about other people needing a handout and all this stuff, because that's what people do a lot of times in those spaces, especially from that Christian nationalistic side. They talk from that place. And then the crazy part about the cap is they'll be the same ones that need the help, need the support. They actually get all that stuff, but they want to talk down on other people that need help. Jesus cared about the marginalized. He cared about the widow. He cared about the prisoner. He cared about the forgotten. So we got to do the same thing. We have to, if you are a Christian, essentially. But even if you're not a Christian, this is just a good way to live your life, to care about others. Because at the end of the day, you want somebody to do the same thing for you.
Absolutely. So if you're in a church that supports ICE, I'm sorry,
you just skate about it, or
that's not it. We call cap. That's not it. That is not
they
progress.
They say don't walk, run.
Okay, like this is not the progress that all of the Christians fought for, that read that Bible and saw the example of Jesus, and that's it.
Come on.
That's it. No, that's not the progress that we're looking to. If you're in a church that is making you feel like you're superior to someone else because of the color of your skin, run. You need to get around more diverse spaces so that you can hear more experiences, so that you can see life through lenses other than your own.
Come on,
that's why diversity is important.
Right.
So I'm just telling you, one thing that I read in preparation for this was talking about progress and the progress of our ancestors, and just progress in general. It's a statement that was said that progress isn't done in a straight line. Progress is done in cycles. Yeah. So, it's kind of like community. Yeah. It's the same thing. It's not linear. It's not this straight line. It's done in circles. It's done in cycles. It's going to progress. It's going to regress, then be challenged, and then come back. Right. So this is the time right now where things seem to be regressing and it's being challenged right now. Yeah. We need to rise to the occasion to fight for progression like our ancestors did, like those who went before us did, like those who set up safe spaces within even faith communities for all inclusive, for inclusive, how you say that word?
Inclusivity.
Thank you. Yeah. For the Q+ community, for all different races and genders and all of that. What a beautiful sight when you can drive past a church and there's a flag representing everybody, for Q+, for the trans community, for the people of color. Like, that's what the church should look like. Exactly. Now, I still have struggles with even going to you know, one of them type churches, just because right now I'm in my reject everything church phase. But I know that people still hold on to their faith. And I feel like that's the space where the church should be progressing to. An all-inclusive space, and not regressing to segregation, not regressing to supremacy of one race over the other. It's just... we're challenging that. And
it should be a mosaic. It should be a picture that has many different colors, shapes, sizes, styles of people, and not somebody trying to reform them and put them back into the place, or try to put them in a box and say, no, wait, you're here. Like, that's the tactic to get you here, because that's another thing that they do. Get you here, but we're going to fix you to be in our little bubble, in our little doctrine, our little belief system. No, let them be as they should. Let them be as they are, and let whatever has to happen, because that's what really community is. It's not me trying to shape you into something to make you fit in my circle. It's letting you be who you are.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I love that. And, you know, on that note, we want to know, what is something that you're unlearning right now? We're every day we're, I guess, presented with opportunities to unlearn something that was given to us from society, given to us through religion, all of these things. And today kind of just happened to be a mix of both. It's just a mix of unlearning something from religion, something from also our society that was given to us. And we want to know what's something that's challenging you right now. What's something that you're unlearning? Drop it down in the chat, or you can also join us on our Patreon community. And you can let us know there. Join the chat. Go ahead and add a comment letting us know, this week I'm unlearning this. Join us as a cousin and kick back with us, connect with us. So that's it for this episode. I think it was a very reflective episode in a sense.
Introspective.
Introspective. Sure. And I love that. I love that we got to honor our ancestors in a way, and also inform people. So I hope this episode was helpful to you. Please go ahead and remember to hit subscribe wherever you're listening on your podcast platforms. And also, if you're here on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, so you know when new episodes or new videos are dropping. And also, don't forget to follow us on TikTok. But that's it for this episode. Another one down.
Unlearning is learning.
So don't unlearn everything. Okay.
Unlearn everything
they gave you. Unlearn
all day.
We'll see y'all next time in the next episode. Peace.